It's worse than you realize.
Okay.
From CNN, of all places. White House is reviewing Section 230 amid efforts to push social media giants to crack down on misinformation. For those that aren't familiar, Section 230 is a beautiful law that allows us the ability to use social media platforms without that platform being sued for what we say. On its surface, makes a lot of sense. If I post something on Twitter under my name, y'all shouldn't be able to sue Twitter for it. This law makes that distinction. However, the law also grants the ability of these platforms to moderate at their hearts to their heart's content, in which case they effectively create an editorial system by which they can say, we're not banning conservatives, it's just our rules. So they monopolize public discourse. They then start purging conservatives. It creates massive hyperpolarization. It just keeps getting worse. And then we find ourselves here. Joe Biden wants to get rid of Section 230. Donald Trump and many conservatives have been saying, get rid of Section 230, not realizing the law just needs a little bit of reform. The Democrats want to get rid of it because they want to be able to force Facebook to ban whatever they want. You get rid of Section 230, Facebook becomes liable for all of for whatever is said that's wrong, for defamation, for even potential criminal negligence. So I'll put it this way. I like to say, hey, don't take medical advice from me. Talk to your doctor. Why? I don't want you to sue me. Some moron's going to do something dumb and then blame me for it. So I'm not going to tell you to do anything. You get people like, Ben Shapiro even is telling people to get vaccinated. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to say, go talk to your doctor. Because what if someone says, hey, Tim Pool said to get vaccinated. I went to a bar and I was drunk and I got vaccinated, but I was allergic to it. Nah, I'm not doing that. Joe Biden wants to be able to ban whoever. They're going to take away this law and that's it. That's the end of the internet. I will tell you. One of the most important things that is keeping right-wing populists and conservatives in the culture war is the ability to speak on these platforms. They are trying to take that away by any means necessary. Now, the problem is many of these people on the left can't just outright ban you. They can't just delete Tim Pool, and every day Timcast.com is growing and we're adding more writers and we're doing more news. Hey, that's a bad thing if you're trying to culturally homogenize around this, cult ideology of critical race theory. The problem is they need a reason to ban people, and they have to do it slowly. If you do it too much, you shock everybody. The frog's got to be boiling in the pot. If they get rid of Section 230, they can just say it's what Trump wanted. It's what Republicans wanted, and that's it. Gone.
I think the only way that it would make sense it would be to, if you got rid of 230, would to reduce Twitter to like a public carrier, in which case it could not ban people, but that's an entirely different argument. You can read guys like Josh Hammer, who's very much a conservative, in maybe more of a traditional sense than I am, and he's kind of suggested this. Common carrier would basically make Twitter into like public transit system. But you're right though. As far as the Democratic Party is concerned, as far as the Biden administration is concerned, this is what they see as a pathway to pushing people like us off of these channels. I think that's right.
It will bring us back to the era of a small handful of channels. And it's already been happening. So one of the things that YouTube has been trying to do specifically, there was a great purge that happened. I think it was last year or the year before, maybe the year before, where they deleted like millions of accounts that were too small, banned them from the partner program. They kicked them out of the partner program. And what this did was it created an advertising pool that was much more homogenous. You had a lot of channels that made money off flat earth stuff. And so YouTube said, we're getting rid of all of that stuff. Some of it was really dumb. Some of it was really bad. And I know people who believe stupid things from watching dumb videos, but individual responsibility, right? What's happening is YouTube is slowly banning more and more channels. I hear about it every day. Channels getting demonetized and getting banned. Eventually, they're trying to get us to the point where there's only maybe a few hundred channels and all of their opinions are in alignment for the most part. You got your approved right-wing opinion and your approved left-wing position. And of course, it's all moving towards the left faster and faster. So, in 10, 20 years, potentially, the right-wing opinion will be a leftist opinion today. Many have made that joke. That's what they're able to do because of the lax rules of Section 230. They can effectively editorialize the same way New York Times will, making money off the content and then assuming no responsibility for it. Yeah. YouTube did something interesting a while back. They changed their pay structure to be royalties. And I think the reason they did that was because of the potential argument that you could say, no, YouTube is effectively employing these people. There was attempt to unionize. This happened in, I think, Europe, YouTube unionization. There were many on the left trying to argue that YouTubers were no different than Uber drivers. They were de facto employees who deserved rights. Then all of a sudden YouTube says, now we're paying you royalties for your content. That way, Well, now you can't argue that YouTube is publishing the content. You can't argue that YouTube's employing these people. And once again, YouTube is now able to editorialize and manipulate people. And the creepiest thing about it is there's a small handful of people at the top of these companies. They're as dumb as a box of rocks. They might be good at selling software or programming, but they do not have the cognitive faculties required to govern billions of people.
The ultimate problem is that those people change. Larry and Sergey bailed. Susan Wojcicki didn't exist in this arena 10 years ago, 12 years ago, when Chad Hurley built YouTube before Google bought it and then changed the ownership again. Jeff Bezos just left Amazon. He just stepped down.
Yep.
Jack Dorsey owns like 5% of Twitter. He doesn't run that company anymore.
He doesn't. He's a figurehead.
Yeah.
They use him to absorb the criticism while someone else is in charge.
It's basically a different company, but it has the same name. I think that should be illegal. I think in the future, when a company gets sold, it should have to change its name.
It used to be that corporations were temporary, I'm pretty sure. Corporations formed for the express purpose of a mission, and they finished it, and then they broke apart. But I'm not entirely sure. I mean, companies kind of existed because people with power had access to resources, and if you did, then you could grant that to somebody, and so somebody would agree to follow you, and then I think was the Brooklyn Bridge the first corporation? I could be wrong.
Oh,
I'm not
maybe
sure.
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
I think we need some sort of like specific law that organizes only around social media. And I've been like waiting for someone to do it, and then Joe Biden becomes president, and he's not the guy. And like I'm Will Chamberlain. He's the guy. Like people like Will. Like we need to organize some sort of. Maybe we have to be the ones just to get creative and kind of like how do you make a law? Do you just have fun? Do you just like think about write a bunch of stuff down, and if everybody likes it, then you propose it to the Senate?
I was definitely wrong about the Brooklyn Bridge, by the way.
Who was the first corporation?
No, there was just tons of small corporations by special legislation. Yeah.
So I'm part of working, I co-founded Minds. Are you familiar with Minds.com? It's a social,
actually,
free software
I
network.
used it briefly.
It's great. And we were working with like the Manila Principles, which is kind of like an internet constitution for the 21st century about like free, how you can like keep people free on the internet. And, I'm sitting here looking like an idiot because I don't have I don't know what the law should be.
I mean, if we just reformed Section 230 a little bit to say that they could only ban speech that was deemed to be unlawful by a court, or actually they should just be called common carriers. It shouldn't be incumbent upon the company at all. It should literally be an act of law that removes the content.
So social media network gets X amount of users per day, becomes a common carrier.
Yes. And then it would be like this. You post something and then on Facebook and then people flag it. They flag it to law enforcement. Law enforcement then comes in and says, okay, we believe this is a, incitement or a threat or whatever. There's risks there. And, I've been I used to be more just like, look, there's incitement is unlawful speech. Obviously, we don't agree with that. And there's some things you shouldn't say, like instructing someone how to commit a crime and stuff like that. The challenge with that, I suppose, is the slippery slope of if unlawful speech can be banned, then the government need only declare some speech to be unlawful.
Right.
So they can say, well, look, hate speech is not free speech. They've been saying that for a long time. Yeah. So they pass a law saying hate speech is not protected anymore. And so, no, you quite literally can't have a law supersede the Constitution, in which case that makes a very serious conundrum about laws that are like incitement or direction, because how can those laws be, affecting the First Amendment? Well, to put it simply, the Supreme Court precedents is what gave us our understanding of free speech. And it seems like actually free speech has been improving. So there are some questions and challenges there. Ultimately, I'll put it this way. I still think it's a good idea. It can only be banned by an act of law enforcement, by a court. The judges should decide if it violates some kind of law or is not in the spirit of free speech or something. Should be, I guess, up to the judges to figure out.
And the way you send
with those problems,
send the post to quarantine until it's decided. Like, is it?
Nope.
So if say something gets posted that is illegal, it seems very illegal. You flag it.
Then
you have to
get a warrant.
But then if it stays up while you're investigating it, that's a problem.
No, it's not. They have to get a warrant. And if it's like posting someone's address and private information when they're at risk, they can get a rushed warrant. They do these things all the time.
But how long is that going to take? Days?
A few hours?
Even that's a long time for something to sit up in public view on the internet, because that can get copied and pasted. And like when you find illegal content, like for Minds, for instance, it was immediately removed and then sent to the FBI or whatever. But there's no leaving it up. You can't do that because then it's just you're culpable for inciting the.
You know, admittedly, I guess we're dealing with a different arena outside of just the normal confines of speech. We're talking about people posting photos and videos, and in that
Data.
instance, yeah, like if someone posted a video of a crime taking place, or of themselves committing a crime, then there needs to be the discretion for someone with immediate access to take that down,
or at least quarantine it somehow.
The challenge then is you'll get people in these companies being like, that's hate speech, removed. Yeah. And then when you're like, you're not allowed to do that, they go, it was an accident. And then it comes back a week later when no one cares anymore. Mm-hmm. How you solve for that, I do not know.
You got to remove the human from the process. It shouldn't be a trust. There should be no trust. It should be a trustless process.
No, look, I think it should be, it should probably be a warrant issue. I mean, yeah, you talk about a lot of the things you've seen when you were moderating Minds. Imagine if someone took a picture that like one of the most disgusting pictures, don't say what it is, on Minds, and they put it up on their window at their house. Yeah, they go to jail for a lot of this stuff. So if somebody wants to post this stuff on Minds, there should be a warrant, an investigation, and action taken, but it would have to happen immediately. I suppose you can say that if someone put something up on their window that was objectionable, like to an extreme degree, the cops would come and immediately arrest the person and take it down as the crime is visible.
But sometimes someone will put something up on someone else's window and you're like, well, we're not. So it's not about busting the person.
Someone will like hack into your account?
Well, anonymous accounts, for instance. Like Minds doesn't track people. It's anonymous. So you don't know. You can't go after the individual. You just have to go after the content. I think that's the way social media should function in general. I don't like going after individuals. You just ban the channel. If that person wants to start a new channel. Criminal. If it's criminal and you find out who does it, then they have to face the penalty of law.
Right.
But I don't think that you should target. Like if someone does something that violates a term on YouTube, you ban the channel that the term was violated on. You don't block that person from
the content.
Yeah, you get rid of the content itself and allow the person to, in my opinion, form another channel. And if they don't violate the content again, then they're good to go.
Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. If you want to see the full show, come back to this channel, youtube.com/TimcastIRL, Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., where you can leave comments and super chat, and we actually will read your comments on the show. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. And if you want exclusive members-only content, segments you can't get anywhere else, go to timcast.com, become a member, and we even have full bonus episodes. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.